In about 5 seconds, this man is going to confess to the murder of his wife.
She hurt my kids. Like I did the same thing to her.
But before that, let's take a look at what transpired to this tragedy.
How you guys doing?
Brother?
What's that?
Do you remember me?
Yeah.
Hey man,
How you been?
Hi.
You Nicole?
Yes.
This is Nicole Atkinson and her son, Nicholas. She had just made a 911 call 20 minutes ago on behalf of her friend, Shannan Watts.
County Communications, this is Stacy. Hi, Stacy. My name's Nicole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine. I dropped her off at her house at 2 in the morning last night because we were out of town together, and we were on the way back from the airport, and she was having issues, and she's pregnant. And I haven't been able to get a hold of her this morning, and I've gone to her house, and her car's there, and stuff like that, but she won't answer the door, she won't answer phone calls, she won't answer text messages, and I'm just really, really concerned. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning, and she didn't go to it, and I don't know what to do. I've called him and talked to him, and he said that she went on a play date with her other 2 daughters, but, like, if she went on a play date, they're both in car seats. Why would she not take her car? Perfectly understandable. Do you happen to know her address, Nicole?
Shannan was pregnant and was expecting in a few months and had just missed her scheduled obstetrics and gynecology appointment. Now she has failed to return any of Nicole's text messages. Worried that something may have happened to her, Nicole drove down to her friend's house to see what's up. Upon knocking at the door, she felt something terrible brew deep within her stomach and phoned the emergency line. She had requested the police to perform a welfare check on Shannan's residence. Shannan lived with her husband, Chris Watts, and her 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste, ages 5 and 3. Normally, Shannan would have been home on a Monday, as a stay-at-home mother will be very busy catering to the needs of the 2 children. However, today, Shannan is nowhere to be found.
They have the thing flipped up here.
Oh. What about the garage door?
I don't
Is
know.
there...
And the alarm goes off.
Do you mind calling him and seeing if we can get a passcode to this and get me permission to go in? Just gonna check the back, see if I can see anything. Right. I just want to look in all the windows, make sure I don't see anything out of...
Upon closer inspection of the property, it seems that there is no forced entry into the house. Chris has been contacted by the police and is on his way home. Chris worked as a mechanic on an oil station and would head off to work at 6 a.m., returning home in the afternoon. Today, he was informed that he would need to come back and aid the investigation. Chris and Shannan had met on Facebook, with Chris being the one to initiate the friend request. After a few weeks of talking, they had agreed to meet up in real life. Just after dating for a few months, the couple officially entered into a long-term relationship with each other. Just 2 years later, they were married and had moved to Frederick, Colorado. On December 17, 2013, her first daughter, Bella, was born. 2 years later, their second daughter, Celeste, or Cece for short, was born. Shannan would often post about how happy she was as a stay-at-home mother with a loving husband and 2 lively children. But beneath her smile existed another side to her life that wasn't so well known. Upon the day of her disappearance, she and Chris had been having marital issues for the past few months. Shannan had shared her frustrations with these issues to multiple friends through private conversations. Knowing these intimate details, her friend Nicole was able to keep an eye out for any unusual circumstances. With Sharon expecting another child, her sudden disappearance became even more suspicious.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
Chris takes his time looking through Nicole's car. He doesn't really seem panicked or worried that his wife and daughters are missing.
I'll give you permission to walk in my daughter's house.
Mind if I come in, Chris? Okay. You checked upstairs? She's not there? I just want to make sure she's not passed out somewhere. Is she diabetic? You mind if I look around?
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Any friends she would be hanging out with?
I mean,
I know, I guess her
Amanda,
parents are out of state.
across country, North Carolina.
Oh. Nothing else appears to be missing though, just
No.
stuff you'd take for a quick trip?
You can, you have full ring.
Does she work?
Yeah, she works from home.
Oh, from home?
This is her lifeline.
Out of all three, who do you think looks like the odd one out? As opposed to Nicole and her child, Chris seemed to be in a state of extreme nervousness, not knowing what to do. He doesn't look around for any evidence of where Shannan could be and is constantly staring at her phone, which is found between the cushions of the sofa. This type of behavior often indicates that the person wants to get out from a stressful situation. His body language is also very strange, as he looks like he wants to tighten up into a ball. His actions have successfally alerted the officer.
She doesn't ever black out or have seizures or anything like
No,
that?
I mean, a long time ago. She had in a car wreck, and they believe that's what happened. But Imitrex is something she takes for migraine. She took more Imitrex this last month than she ever had before, but that's just because she was in North Carolina with the humidity and everything like that. She was there for 6 weeks, and we got back Monday or Tuesday, and then she flew out to Arizona Friday morning, and then she got back last night about 2 a.m. The flight got delayed. She left about 11. She got here at 2.
Okay.
And I went to work this morning about 5:15, 5:30.
Take a look at how Chris responds to the police. Rapid large-degree hand motion often indicates whomever is trying to persuade the person that they are talking to. He also takes a few steps backwards to keep distance, as if he is intimidated by the police. Whatever the case may be, it looks as if he is trying to convince the officer.
So what time do you work?
Could this be fear that momentarily appeared on Chris's face?
Usually, once I get to work, it's like 6:30 to 3:30, 4 o'clock.
You usually work nights or days?
Days.
What time do you leave the day?
What time I leave there?
No, here.
Usually between 5:30 and 6.
Alright. And was Shannan here then?
Yes.
You guys have any kind of issues, marital issues, or
We're going through separation.
you are? You guys filed yet or anything, or just talking about?
No, we're gonna sell the house and do a separation.
And how's that going?
It's going
Civil for the most
civil.
part, or does your wife go to that swim pool often, or the?
It just depends. I mean, on a hot day like this, I would say no.
The officer suggests a place where Shannan could be, but Chris outright rejects the idea. A normal behavior would be to jump on board with the slightest possibility of where the missing person could be. Raising suspicion towards Chris to an even higher level, the group heads over to the neighbors to look at what was captured on their CCTV camera.
Is this on continually
Yep.
recording?
Yep. Well,
It's not. Is it
any
motion or is it?
event,
Okay, so it's motion.
Any motion event that happens, I get cars driving from this street, And this is him at 517.
We usually park out there on the side. I just want to get everything back in. Be easier, so lugging everything out there, all the tools that I had to bring in.
Chris nervously gyrates beside the TV as he sees that the only person captured on film leaving the house is himself. It doesn't take an investigator to realize that this man is acting rather odd.
What else can I do with this?
All right, appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Hopefully something comes up here.
Mind if you just want to go talk to him? I'm going to get his info real quick. No.
He's never fidgety, he's never rocking back and forth, and if you look.
On the day after, K9 units were called to the scene. A few very strange occurrences were captured on film.
That didn't happen, so that's okay.
At the same time, Chris agreed to a TV interview about the case.
Right now, you got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere. I want everybody to just come home. Like, wherever they're at, come home. That's what I want.
Here he is shaking his head while speaking. A common interpretation of this would be that what was said is going against the truth. It's an inconsistent body language. Person was telling the truth, they would be more likely nodding or having body language that would indicate agreement. But note that this may not always be the case. Shannan's phone was found behind the couch cushion on the second floor, revealing much of her untold story of her marriage between Chris. The first of these messages between the couple would be on July 10th of 2018, when first signs of tension began. On August 4th, 2018, Shannan confronts Chris of her disapproval towards his actions at their family reunion, in which Chris had failed to stand up to his parents after exposing Celeste to nuts, an allergy which she had. The next few days, she texts multiple friends of her dissatisfaction towards Chris. The day before her disappearance, she drafted a speech about how helpless she was. The point being how she is trying to make their marriage work and was driving her crazy. With enough evidence to assume that Chris may be a part of the disappearance, Chris was taken into questioning. This is FBI Tammy Lee conducting this interrogation, just 2 days after the missing persons report.
Alright, I'm gonna go make a copy of this so we can look at it together. Alright, let's do this. So I'm gonna sit next to you so we can look at it together. I know you're going through a lot, so we're not gonna keep you here all night. Can we go through this? So, okay.
He starts off by asking a few questions to get the suspect to relax. A relaxed suspect will be more inclined to reveal more information that might not benefit themselves.
So this 1:48 a.m.
Back you up. Let me switch your chairs. Okay. Because when they come knocking, when they come knocking, I gotta use that key.
Tammy switches seats with Chris. This may be a misjudgment on the interrogator's part, as Chris can call an end to the interrogation at any time, a lawyer up if he feels threatened. But Chris seemingly has a narcissistic personality and thinks he can sweet talk his way out of the situation.
Do you need more water?
No, I'm fine.
I brought you Gatorade.
Oh, thank you.
Alright.
Alright, so 1:48 a.m. doorbell detects the visitor. So when we were over at the neighbor's house that next day, we were looking at his camera as well, and it didn't show anybody walking up to the driveway, which was kind of weird. That's the only reason I put that on there. All the people that I know that have cars, I mean, they've contacted me. I mean, unless it's, I mean, there's definitely a chance there's somebody I don't know. Being a guy or a girl, I mean, and she has plenty of friends through like direct sales that I've never met. She has a close-knit group.
Okay.
But the fact that none of them know anything is very strange, because one of them would have said something by now.
So I know it's hard to talk about. You mentioned that there was a hard conversation that the two of you had about
Separation.
Your marriage and separation. Now that you've had a little bit of time to think, looking back on that conversation, can you connect the dots between both of you being upset and crying, and here we are, and now she and the kids are gone?
This is when the interrogator puts on pressure to see if Chris has anything else to hide. Chris keeps suggesting that Shannan wants to clear her mind from the issue in their relationship, and her disappearance was her way of taking a break. Shannan left without any of her essential items. This does not follow any logical train of thought, even if she was to go over to a friend's house.
So she got home about 2 a.m.
And were you already home?
Oh yeah, I was passed out.
Okay.
At about 4 a.m. That's when my alarm went off to go to work.
Okay. So from she gets in at 2, alarm goes off at 4. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you were sleeping that whole time?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So the conversation hadn't started.
No.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. And then so at 4:15, what happens?
That's when I crawled back in bed. I woke her up.
Okay.
And then I proceeded to talk to her about figuring out who people are. It's like the best way for people to really find out who they are is to spend time apart.
Can we talk about something that's kind of hard to talk about? So when I work investigations like this, I have to keep an open mind on everything. The day she goes missing is the day that you guys have marital discord.
Finally, the elephant in the room is addressed. Let's see how Chris responds to this.
What do you think about that?
Makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. Like, I know, like, I've talked to a few of my friends, it's like, you know, this does not look good on you. I'm like, I know. It's like, if people knew that we were having marital issues, they're gonna look at me, especially with the way everything looks. And it honestly just makes me sick to my stomach, because this is something that I would never do.
That speech was almost convincing. Chris becomes visibly defensive. His outstretched arms seemingly indicate that he feels attacked by the question. A common response of an innocent person being accused of committing a crime would be anger rather than extreme persuasiveness.
Ever.
By not responding to Chris's speech, a gap of uncomfortable silence is present. During this time, the suspect will feel that what they have said was not convincing enough and feel the need to elaborate. This will often lead the suspect to reveal more details than what they want.
I'm not sure like what I could do to make people believe that, just because if they knew we were having marital discord, they would automatically look at me. But there's no, I would harm anybody in my family at all.
Okay. Would you take a polygraph?
Sure.
Okay. Would you take it tonight?
If that's what you want me to do. I've never done one. I don't know like what it involves, but.
To prove his innocence, Chris confidently and idiotically agrees to take a polygraph.
Can we keep talking about some complicated things?
Sure.
Some things that are going to make you uncomfortable?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And I think you know why I have to ask them. Okay. And
It's a hard job.
it's a hard job. It is a hard job. So I need to ask you about your marriage and infidelity.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me about it.
I have never cheated on my wife.
This is a straight up lie. On June 14, 2018, just 3 days after learning that Shannan is pregnant with their third child, Chris enters Nicole Kessinger's contact information in his phone. She is a co-worker who would later become his mistress. As their relationship develops, he would begin to spend less and less time with his family, causing the said marital issues. Chris and Nicole would exchange illicit messages, accompanied by photograph, and go on dates. Chris had promised to Nicole that he and Shannan are in the process of separating, and a divorce was due by the end of the year.
I just don't believe some of the things you're telling me. Okay, I just don't. I simply do not believe you.
What makes you think? What have I said that makes you not believe me at all?
It should be noted that at this time of the interview, no definitive evidence was found linking Chris's involvement towards his family's disappearance. It is up to the duty of the interrogators to get a confession out of Chris, as he is by far their biggest lead.
When we find the guy who took him, what do you think we should do?
Honestly, like, they're gonna come home safe, correct? When you find the guy.
When we find the guy, they're going to come home.
Life in prison would be that's what I would think with 2 kids that are involved.
Chris states that the punishment for taking his family will be imprisonment for life. Wouldn't that be something a little too harsh if his family was already returned safe and sound? Subconsciously, he could have already given a matching punishment because he already knows their fate. It is the next day and Chris heads to the police station to forgo his promised polygraph test.
I'm going to have a seat right here, Chris.
Sit on this?
Yep, I know. I'll explain what that is here in a little bit, but you don't have to worry. It's not on or anything right now. It's not gonna buzz you or anything.
I've never done this before.
I know. A lot of people haven't had polygraphs before. It's not like a normal thing that people go through. A lot of people, like obviously in law enforcement and places like that, they have to go through polygraphs for their job, but other than that, most people never take a polygraph in their entire life.
Investigators will first ask a few basic questions.
Yeah, I met Shannan in 2010.
Oh, 2010?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did you guys date before you got married? I'm assuming you're married?
Yeah, 2012 when we got married.
Okay. Dated a couple of years?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Now, does she live in Morrisville?
She lived in Belmont at the time.
So how did you meet her?
Through my cousin's wife. And my cousin's wife and Shannan, they knew each other from from a wheel shop that she ran. When Shannan told me about the third child, it was just like, all right, let's see what we got now, see if we can, boy or girl. I mean, we're trying for a boy, so now we're just like...
Is it a boy?
We haven't told anybody yet, but yeah, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
He says this as if everything was normal as can be. In the perspective of Chris, this third child would likely put a wrench on his relationship with Nicole. From the looks of it, Chris was trying his hardest to make the separation happen. It should be noted that at the beginning of the pregnancy, Shannan posted many times in social media of the news. She may have thought that the new child would bring the initial spark back to their relationship. Unfortunately for her, this would not be the case.
Oh yeah, I think Detective Baumhauer, he came, and they're all like, taking questions from me, Nicole, her son Nick, that was there. And then we went over to, they talked to my neighbor, because he has a camera facing, he picks up a few different angles and whatnot. and watched his video surveillance, didn't see anything as far as her leaving at all. So they're just like, all right, like where, like how this happened, like there's no like video of her like leaving the front at all. So we didn't know, we were just at a loss for words, like, all right, where is she? Like, she witnessed leave everything here. Like, even the kid's medicine was still there. And I was just like, all right, she needs that.
So, thank you for explaining all that to me. Obviously, I have more questions, so I may kind of piece it out, just going back, just so I understand everything. And you kept saying that you thought she was at a friend's house. Do you still think she's at a friend's house?
At this point, I don't. Because all this, like, everything that's happened now,
So what does that make you think of?
it just makes me feel like either she vanished, like, she has the kids and she's somewhere where, like, maybe hopefully a hotel. But I don't think she's at a friend's house now, unless it's somebody I just don't know.
How about we cut to the chase and understand what exactly happened? Through retrospective details, we learned that on the morning of August 13th, 2018, Chris and Shannan did indeed have a talk, but this would be Shannan's last conversation of her life. Shannan accused Chris of cheating, which is when Chris became enraged. He wrapped his hand around his pregnant wife and squeezed as hard as he can. Shannan begged for her life, but ultimately died due to strangulation. Chris looked over his wife's body, contemplating his next move. Then he heard a faint whisper, "What's wrong with mommy?" His eldest daughter was woken up and witnessed the incident. He proceeds to wrap Shannan's body in a large bedsheet to load it up into the car. He also told both his daughters to come down to the oil field, where he dug a grave for his wife and proceeded to smother both his daughters with blankets. He then dumped them both into 2 different oil tankers. What he didn't expect would be how fast the police came to investigate the whole situation. After the basic questioning, the polygraph is finally about to begin. The interviewer will first ask Chris some basic questions to see how he responds when knowing that his answers are truthful. Then he will be asked to purposely lie on several questions to monitor his breathing and emotions to accurately detect when he is being deceitful. It should be noted that polygraph tests cannot be used as evidence in the court setting.
How'd you feel? You did great.
That was,
You remembered to lie and everything. That was awesome. So, you obviously are a really bad liar. Have people told you that before? Like, the second you tell a lie, like, they can tell, like, on your face that... Because the second you lied to the number 3, like, I don't know if you heard me clicking, but I had to, like, turn down the sensitivity because you were starting to go off the page. So, that is what I need to see as a polygrapher, because that tells me that you know it's wrong to tell a lie. And you're actually having a significant reaction when you lie, so that is awesome. So thank you for being a horrible liar. No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We don't want to be good liars, so thank you for being a horrible liar. And that just shows me that, you know, obviously on the test when they're asking, you know, significant stuff about your wife, if you're lying to that, it's going to be even 10 times more amplified. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much, more than you know. So that was awesome.
Great mind games played by the detective here. She is implying that Chris's deceitfulness is seen through easily, which will make Chris even more nervous during the test. Chris will now be told of the results of his polygraph test.
So, it is completely clear that you were not honest during the testing, and I think you already know that. You did not pass the polygraph test.
Okay.
Okay. So now we need to talk about what actually happened. And I feel like you're probably ready to do that.
I didn't lie to you on that polygraph, I promise.
Chris,
I know.
Chris, stop. It's time. Just stop for a minute. Take a deep breath. I want you to take a deep breath right now. But you weren't here today lying about something else. So we need to talk about that, okay? I cheated on her.
Chris has no other options but to reveal that he has cheated on his wife, as opposed to admitting that he had direct involvement with his wife's disappearance. This confession does not put more suspicion on him, and can explain why the polygraph came up as being deceptive.
I know. And this is very good. Keep
I'm not proud of it. Like, I don't think anything like that could happen. I don't think I would ever do it, but I did.
I know. Keep going.
And she accused me of it. I denied it. I feel absolutely horrible about this, but That's what I've been holding. When I didn't go to the Rockies game, I was with her.
Okay.
I went to dinner with her.
Here's what we know, okay? And I'm not gonna lie to you right now. Here's what we know, okay? Chris is a good man. Everyone said it. Okay, I'm not just telling you that because I, want to blow smoke here. You're a good man, okay? Nobody can fake answers about packing a backpack. Nobody. You either pack a backpack for your kids or you don't, okay? This should have been the happiest time of your marriage, okay? You and Shannan. This should have been the happiest time. She's making a little money. She's making good money. You're making great money. You both have a job. You have beautiful kids. You have a beautiful house. You're in Colorado. Clean air, good people. Okay? And on top of that, you look pretty good now. You're pretty fit. Okay? This should have been a time in your marriage where you guys were happy and thriving and productive. Okay? And I believe that Shannan's the reason none of that happened. I believe that she's a controlling person. Maybe doesn't listen to you as much as she should. I think that she can do whatever she wants and you can't.
The investigators will now try to make Chris feel that whatever he has done is justified. The biggest hurdle that could happen right now would be Chris feeling threatened and lowering it up. And it is absolutely ludicrous why Chris is still on board with this.
Okay? I think if you were to go to a restaurant, she would order whatever the hell she wants. And as soon as you order a nice steak, she says, "Whoa, buddy." Okay? A woman that lets her man do all of the backpack packing and all of the cooking.
I'll do all the cooking, but like she cooks I
Yeah.
do some things here and there.
Okay? That's because you're a good person, and I think that she started on the path to leave the marriage. Okay, well, how about this? If we bring in your dad, will you promise me that you'll talk to him?
I'll talk to him.
Okay. Will you promise me that you'll tell him everything? Would it be easier if you told him and he told us?
I don't know.
Hey, Chris, we're gonna let you have however much time you need, okay?
Okay. You gonna leave us in there or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Chris's father is taken into the interrogation room, likely another tactic for him to feel more secure.
And this polygraph failed it. Yeah, because there's too much emotions. So I mean, they're not gonna let me go. I'm gonna let me talk to her about that. Talk to her about separation and everything, about
And she lost it. And then you went back upstairs and she was...
I can see she was not
What, choking her or... Did she kill her?
They're blue.
Both of them?
Yeah.
She choked both of them to death.
I freaked out at the same thing.
The interrogators must be jumping with excitement now in front of the computer screen. He had just admitted to murdering his wife on camera.
I mean, I didn't know what else to do. I freaked out. I didn't know nothing else to do. I didn't know what to do.
So she killed both CC and Bella. Choked them to death. You lost it in the choke her or...
That's just rage. I hadn't...
What's that?
Both of these interrogators are coming in for the kill.
You okay? You sure?
I didn't know what to do.
I know.
I didn't know what to fucking do. Like, none of this made sense. Why would she hurt my fucking girls?
Note that this is the first time Chris has cried since his wife and kids had gone missing. It is likely that he is worried about his prosecution rather than being remorseful of the death of his family. On August 16, 2018, the two children, Bella and Celeste, were found in 2 separate oil tankers. Shannan's body and the blanket that was used to suffocate the 2 children was found nearby. Upon indisputable evidence, Chris finally admits to strangling his wife and 2 daughters. Nicole Kessinger, the woman who Chris was having an affair with, was suspected to be involved with emotionally manipulating Chris to commit the murders. She had searched on Google for wedding dresses 9 days before Shannan's murder and had texted Chris to search up the lyrics to the song Battery by Metallica, which contains the lyrics, "Smashing through the boundary," and "Cannot kill the family." She had also searched for topics such as, did people hate Amber Frey, a mistress that was involved in another high-profile murder case, just 3 days after Chris admitting to killing his family. She was likely worried about her own perception by the public eye. However, she was not prosecuted due to the lack of definitive evidence. Chris's trial began on August 21st, 2018, and was ultimately sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This case sets out as a reminder that people, even the ones closest to us, can change at any given moment.